Hi, welcome to JJ's Productions. We're back with another Stoke City Vlogcast. With me as always is Jan. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks. And I'd like to apologise for the last vlog. I wasn't feeling myself and I felt as if I seemed a little bit down, and I do apologise for that. I'm feeling a bit better today, so...
A win helps.
Yes. But it wasn't the match, but let's get started.
I'm going to say, we got a win!
Yay! And can you believe from 14 minutes we kept the lead?
Well, it's definitely an improvement. Across the season, if we've taken a lead, I've been on the back of my seat, or the edge of my seat even. Let's get the part of the seat correct. I've been on the edge of my seat worrying that we're going to be conceding, because I've just not had faith in the defence yet. Even with a pretty good backbone side as far as offensive capabilities go, I didn't worry.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and I was honestly on tender hooks. I thought they're going to score here, especially the last 20 minutes. I thought they're not going to do it.
Well, we didn't bring this up in the last episode, but Blackburn have got an ex-Stoke in their ranks in Ben Brereton, I think his name is pronounced.
Yeah.
So I'll admit, when he came on, I was thinking, hey, up here he comes. He's going to just prove to us why we shouldn't have been so blasé over him as a youth player.
Yeah.
But it was not much to worry about in the end, and I think Bradley Dack's absence may have played a part.
Yes, definitely.
There was rumours that it was to do with his celebrity girlfriend being dumping him, and I heard Tony Mowbray after the game say it wasn't, but
Man up, you blinking pillock.
I will admit, if it is that, I am bowing my head in a bit of shame of being a football supporter. How many people have been dumped and had to go and work next day? So if that was the case, Bradley, buck up a little.
I'd just say the boss ought to be ashamed of himself for letting him get away with it, and he ought to be fined a week's wages.
I don't know about anyone else, but I'd have thought working would actually get his mind off it if that was the case. Like I say, Tony Mowbray did come out and say it was an injury. It was a hamstring injury or something, but
Well, talking about injuries, what's so ironic about yesterday?
Oh,
Ryan. Only in the week he'd said it's the fittest he's felt for a long time.
Why do we come out with these lines?
Yeah.
It's as if we're saying, right, this good feeling we've got, I'm going to come and just shove that spike up your bum and say, right, let's just evaporate that feeling.
I couldn't believe it. I thought, Ryan, you're blinking mocked yourself here.
Oh, it's predictable, and it's unpredictable. It's absolutely bonkers.
Well, let's just hope it's just a little injury and they took him off as a precaution.
Let's hope. I'm hearing it is related to his back, and you're thinking, oh, God.
Not again.
Yeah, so...
Especially when he's got such a good thing going with...
Danny Bart.
Bart
Simpson. Bart.
So, it's a shame if he has injured his back again.
Yeah, here's hoping it's just a little tweak, but the trouble is, with playing Swansea in midweek, it is going to be a little bit tricky to recover.
Yeah.
It's not just Ryan there. I don't know what Tom or Bo's injuries were specifically, but if they had to come off, in Tom's case, the first half, Bo early second, you would imagine they might struggle to be fit for Swansea.
Yeah. I can't fault any of the players yesterday. Not one of them.
I liked the description that Nathan Jones used for Phobie, saying that he run himself into the ground.
Yeah.
And I think that is essentially what he needs to do every game. Yeah. I've seen him do it once this season, and that was against Bolton at home. And I think I enjoyed his performance that day. I was watching it and I was like, come on, Bennett, that is what we signed you for. It isn't the goals really, it's the work rate as well. And you think to yourself, that's what we need to see.
Well, I could have cried when I saw Nathan Jones clapping the crowd. I got so emotional, and I thought, he's thinking to himself there, I've got to win, I've got to go and clap him. And he just looked so proud, as if he'd just done 90 minutes. But I can't knock it. I do like him.
I think, if anything as well, part of him was thinking, I better go clap him, because they're going to be thinking to themselves, I'll be coming on the pitch soon to take a penalty.
Well, I did say on Twitter yesterday, in the first 4 minutes, the Stoke crowd. Now, this is what I was on about last week. They got behind them from the very start. In the first 4 minutes they sang Delilah, and I thought, that's it, get behind them from the start and you'll G them up.
I mean, let's be honest, Stokies, right? Even though there are people like myself who aren't the loudest to begin with, when we're all together, we are quite a vocal bunch, right? So it does irritate me when we go away and it doesn't appear like we're the loudest ones, you know, and I think, come on, and it might be 2,000 we get, it might be 200, but I bet we can still make a noise that rivals the home ground at most stadiums.
It wasn't the case that they weren't making a noise, they just weren't singing.
Yeah.
They just were quiet, and that isn't Stoke fans. You know, they've been loud for years, and then all of a sudden, there's nothing.
I mean, last season, the only game we managed to get to was away at Brighton, and I think that was a funny stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know, you couldn't really make a noise there, I didn't feel.
No.
So, you know, I know there are certain situations where it is a bit awkward, but equally, I think, come on, lads or ladies, you know, just rev it up a little.
Didn't they go Everton?
That was the year before.
Oh, sorry, folks.
Yeah, don't worry, we've just got a tick sheet, you know, we've got, like, whittle them off.
So, but anyway, I actually regretted not going yesterday. I said to Josh about 10 o'clock, I wish I'd got a ticket for Go. And of course it was too late. But there's other matches, and
I mean, we have got a season card for next season booked and prepaid and everything, so, you know, it is good that we're going next season, because the one thing I have hated all season is having to go, well, I heard this on the radio, I've seen this on Twitter, you know, and it's always second-hand reporting, so it'd be nice next season, even if it's only not 19 out of 38, I'm going back to the Premier League there, if it's 23 out of 46 games, we can say we have seen it.
Mind you, I am going to go away as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, put it like this, we're going to keep trying to go away. It's,
the only ones that we can't go away next year are those in London because of my little Dottie, my puppy. I can't leave her for that long. So, you know, it's going to have to be the short journeys, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Unless you go on your Todd.
Yeah, either that we get a dog sitter.
Anyway.
Yeah, complete digression there.
Yeah. Right, I'll do my stats. Swansea, they've won 15, they've drawn 8, and they've lost 16. They're currently in 13th. I can't believe that. I mean, the only thing I can think is that while we were doing them 4-0-0s, they've crept up. Because I'm sure they were beneath us. So, it come as a shock when I saw that they were above us. Top scorer is Oliver McBurney on 14. Other than that, nobody has scored more than 4. Back in September, we beat them 1-0, and our scorer was Joe Allen. So, Joe, now's your time to show your name.
I was going to say, I can somehow imagine Joe pushing forward a little bit in this game, you know, especially if Bo is injured. I could imagine, I'm not saying I encourage it, but I could imagine Klukas coming into the midfield and Allen going further forward. And whilst I believe that would be the worst possible thing we could do, considering Joe finally seems to be settled in the midfield, I could imagine someone saying, should we do it because he scores against Swansea?
Yeah.
So, like I say, I don't want to plant an idea there. I think it's a bad idea, but if it happens, that's what I'm calling the reasoning for.
And what made me laugh is, and I think I mentioned it on the last vlog against Swansea, is that I did go to Swansea and went in the shop and had a right Barney with this fowler about him. And he says, Joe Allen play for Stoke? In your dreams, lady. And I thought, you never know. And he scored against them, and I would just love to have bumped into that fowler again.
I mean, when you think he scored against them start of the season, but he did last season, I think, in the Premier League, and I know he did the one before because it was him and Bonnie, you know. So it's as if we have got a bit of a funny thing with Swansea and ex-players. So I'm hopeful Joe will have a good game at the very least, because I think maybe it is just this natural competitive edge where he wants to raise his game for them.
Yeah. I think next week, you know, well, Wednesday, we will see Joe fighting for get a goal.
I mean, here's hoping. I mean, I think Joe's come into his own the last half dozen games or so. I mean, I think when we saw him last, he was he had a better game against Forest, if I remember right, than he did against Aston Villa. I think the Villa game he was all over the place, whereas I think the Forest game he improved. I think, anyway. I'll admit, because they were back-to-back games, my brain might be muddling him up, but yeah, I think from then he has steadily got better. I think that Derby County away game, he was a little lost, but I think the entire midfield was lost that night. I think there was just some weird scare, fear in the team, as if to say, "Oh, it's Derby, ooh," and I'm thinking,
Lampard's watching me.
Yeah, I get the feeling there was just something weird going on. I've got no idea how to explain it. I think maybe we were just told to be defensive. I've got no idea. I think you'd have to ask the players that from that night. But from Derby, even though we went on and had 2 more 0-0s, I think the midfield itself improved. We looked more comfortable.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's just the start of something new.
Oh, I've got to commend Swansea actually for their win against Middlesbrough yesterday, 3-1. That was very, very good. And could see the demise of Tony Pulis.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I think at this stage of the season, I think it's just too late. If you're going to sack him, you should have done it back in January or February. Give the new guy a chance, whereas who's going to take over now, essentially.
I don't know if you feel it, though, if they lose a couple more. Well, they are going to lose 1 anyway against us, but I think it will be the end of Pulis at Middlesbrough.
I think if it becomes mathematically impossible that they can get promoted, then he's gone, because I think that was his remit to get in the playoffs at least.
Yeah.
So I think failing that, he would get the sack.
Yeah.
But it's a surprise, and it has been pointed out quite widely over the weekend that since Danny Bart left Middlesbrough from his loan spell there and joined us, they've conceded a lot more goals. I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but they've conceded a lot more, whilst we've conceded a lot less.
Yeah.
So it is interesting how one player.
Our game.
It's interesting considering he wasn't even playing up there. He was maybe playing here and there, but he wasn't a regular. So it's quite interesting how things turn around.
Yeah. Well, you've got some facts about the in and outs, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't anything revolutionary, because I think the majority of this was discussed at the start of the season. But I'll admit I've had to reboot my computer, so the window I was looking at is closed down. But the general gist is that there have been a lot of ins and outs at Swansea. I mean, I was looking at the numbers for the ins, and they haven't spent more than 3 or 4 million on a player. And at least as far as disclosed fees, there might be an undisclosed one that's a little higher than 4 or 5. But the outs have been ridiculous. I mean, I have heard about it throughout. It's not as if it's breaking news, this, but I just don't know how the Swansea fans have coped with this. I mean, it must be heartbreaking to see. It's not even the spine, but it's like the entire corpse of the body being picked.
Yeah.
Because, it's like when we went down, we were thinking, oh, will Butland go, will Allen go, and it turns out that we actually kept Butland, Allen, and we only lost Shaqiri, really. So you look at it and you think, well, Swansea, by comparison, they lost pretty much everyone. They lost the goalkeeper, Fabianski, they lost the centre-half in, I'm trying to remember, Federico Fernandez, that's it. They lost midfield in Ki-Sung Young, and I think they might have even lost a striker, although, they had Tammy Abraham on loan last season and lost him. So you look at it and you go, they did lose quite a core of players, whether to, as I say, they're returning loan spells or just selling them on. It's baffling.
Was McBurney a regular Swansea player, or is he new or relatively new?
He's only really been a regular this season.
Can I say I hadn't heard of him?
Last season he was on loan at Barnsley for the second half of the season, and he did really well there. I'm not surprised he got back into the Swansea team this year because of it. Last season they were relying on Abraham, and if I remember right, it was the Ayew brothers, Andre and Jordan, and between them they just didn't get enough. I think this is where I feel a bit sorry for Tammy Abraham, because he seems a very good championship striker. It's like, if we had the willingness to push for a permanent deal for him, go for him, because he's proven. But equally, I don't know how proven he is at the Premier League level because of that Swansea spell. It's like, it's as if he wasn't ready. But then again, though, he could have another spell and then not do well either. So
Yeah.
he really needs that second spell in the Premier League to prove it,
Yeah.
or disprove it.
Well, whichever way, McBurney has done well with 14 goals.
Yeah, I think if they went up, say they had gone up this season, I think McBurney would have been a bit like Mitrovic for Fulham this season. You know, Swansea as a team would have probably come back down.
I get sick of hearing his name.
Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
He pops up everywhere.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah, I think he would have been like the star of the show. That was the
yeah,
point I was making.
Yeah. So, but as I say, I don't know a lot of names. I think it's a senior thing with me that I can't take all the names in at the minute.
Oh, it's like you.
I do struggle.
We were watching the Brighton game on telly last night, and you were seeing Glenn Murray, and you're saying, "Oh, Glenn Murray, he's a good player, isn't he?" You know, and people who watch football and keep the names, you probably remember it. Whereas I think you know him, but you just
Yeah,
sort
I know people by faces, and to be honest, and this is not anything derogative, but they've got such hard names now that I just think, oh, I'll look at the faces and I'll know them.
I sort of know what you mean. It's like, again, the Brighton game last night. For me, one of the star players was Brighton's number 16, but I'm pretty good with surnames, and I think his surname was Yakanabash or something like that, and I'm thinking, you know, I struggle with that, you know, so you've got a time on your hand to try and remember it, let alone say it, you know, so...
And my memory isn't that good at the minute, so you'll have to just bear with me, folks. I'm so sorry.
Watch Stoke sign Yankabash next season on loan or something.
Please don't. I couldn't even say Arnie's name, never mind anybody else, and Yabba Dabba Doodah. I mean, that is...
Emmanuel Adebayor for first-time listeners.
And I couldn't get my tongue around it, so I do apologise, honestly I do.
Yeah, I feel like this is our little funny moment during the games, but yeah, if we are being insensitive, please let us know. But yeah...
I mean it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just moving back to Swansea a minute, I think they've done well in spite of what's gone on, because this is where this entire tangent started. That, you know, they have had a lot of outs and they haven't really recruited greatly. You know, I mean, I think they've had a few good ones. Plus, Dan James has done well. I think he came through their academy, so he's done fantastic considering he was on the verge, literally on the doorstep of Leeds. You know, he was in their building and Swansea pulled the plug. So I think they have done well in that sense, that they've remained, I wouldn't say competitive because they didn't get in the playoffs like ourselves, but they haven't sunk either. They haven't done a Sunderland.
Yeah.
So I've got full praise for them. You know, I mean, it's going to be a tough game in my eyes because Swansea are very energetic. That's the one thing I've got in my head anyway. That, you know, even if maybe their talent is, you know, maybe 3 out of 5 stars, you know, they'll run and they'll make sure we fight for the result. And to be honest, that's sort of what I want Stoke to be. I don't care if we haven't got the flashiest players on show, as long as we fight and get any result, you know.
As long as we play like we did yesterday, or it sounds like we played well, and keep that memento going, then I think we'll be alright.
I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm not getting carried away because, you know, we've had that many false dawns this season. We could be counting to 1 billion, to me thoughts. But the way I see it is a promising position now after that win. You know, it's as if we have got just one monkey off our back. You know, there's probably a couple more lingering around the shoulders waiting to climb up, but there is one thing off our back, which is we hadn't won since, was it October, November against Bristol City away? So, you know, I mean, when you think in that time we've also played Shrewsbury away, you know, it is pretty bad, that this away record. So I am glad that we've got that little run out of the way.
It's just nice to have one off the bat, as you say. So I'm just glad we got the win.
I mean, I was looking at an article about Stoke the other day, and it was regarding just how the first half of the season had gone. And when you compare the results first half of the season to second half of the season, the second half has been worse. Yeah, I think because Nathan Jones has got an aura about him, for lack of a way of putting it, there's faith that even if the results aren't great now, the performances will be better next season with the results. So
I think once he's got his players in with our players, I think we're going to see a big difference. Well, I hope we're going to see a big difference.
I mean, we've got 2 minutes left, so I will ask for your prediction, but I've got another question after.
1-0 Stoke.
1-0 Stoke. I'm going to join you there, and I'm going to be predictable and go for Joe Allen to score.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're in total agreement this time. That's quite boring.
It's a blinking miracle, mate.
But the question I was going to ask you, and I'm extending this to anyone who's listening, whether you're a Stoke supporter, a Swansea supporter, or just some random YouTuber who's just happened to tune into the channel. Who do you think Stoke City will keep at the club next season?
You want me to name them all?
Just those who you think will stay. Like, you know.
I think Joe will stay.
Yeah.
I think Bo will stay. Sam Kukas.
All right, we've got a Klukas staying. Okay.
Yeah. Etebo.
Okay.
Obviously Ryan.
Okay, which is a good turnaround for him.
Yeah. But.
Okay.
And Vokes.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of time left still. I'm going to spin it around. Who do you think will go? Because I think you think Jack's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Bauer, he's going.
Yeah, I could believe that.
I think he's already gone somewhere, to be honest.
Well, he wasn't on the bench yesterday.
But other than that, I think it's going to be okay. I think Jack is the one that's going to go.
I mean, I think Berahino's a certainty to go in some manner.
Oh, I didn't even think of him.
You know, I think whether it's we sack him or we try and bin him off at a loss, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
I think Juve will likely go somewhere.
Yes.
I personally do.
Forgot about him.
But the reason why I started this question is, and the reason why I want people to answer it as well, there are players who, like James McLean for instance, who many people think should go, but personally I don't think he will. So I'm wondering if there are any in your mind who you think will go, who you don't think other fans will agree with you. So just give us some names and tell us what you think.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you with McLean. I think he'll stay. Even though, like you say, we all want him gone.
Like I say, leave your thoughts in the comments because it's just something that's been interesting me, so I want to hear what everyone says. But yeah, we're wrapping it up now, so thank you very much for listening. The Stoke City Vlogcast will be back on Wednesday, I believe, for the Rotherham preview, so tune in for that. Other than that, thanks very much. We'll see you next time.
Okay, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.